The Movies of the Meek, where we watch made-for-TV movies and miniseries so you don't have to. From Gia to Xenon, Hysteria to Sybil, welcome to Movies of the Meek.
This week we watched Disney's 2018 masterpiece called Zombies, which is the story that is very similar to Descendants, which is about there was a zombie apocalypse, which they do literally say it was an apocalypse, and it was started by a cream soda, and this gas was exposed to the world, and it turned people into zombies. But now there's this new technology called the Z-Band, which can make them be functioning zombies that no longer want to eat brains, and so they're integrating them back into society. And this is about a young zombie boy named Zed who has dreams of becoming a football star. And it's about the things that he has to do to help with zombie human equality.
I think that sums it up perfectly, Max. Thank you.
Thank you.
So, I don't know if this zombie gas that leaked from the factory affected the whole world, but we only see this town of Seabrook.
Yeah.
And I don't know, for the past couple of decades, the zombies have been living in a walled-off ghetto.
Yes.
Yeah. And it is only recently that they decided to integrate the zombie children into the Seabrook High School, which is kind of where this begins, right? With
yes.
With Zed kind of talking about how excited he is for the first day of school. It's like the amount of disgust the humans have for these zombies is incredible. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I felt like, I mean, this is drawing parallels for me to like Nazi Germany and the Jewish people. It was that level of disgust, Max. It was crazy.
There's also like, I mean, one of the questions that I had, of course, you brought up how much of the world is actually affected. One of the other things that I was thinking about is that, you know, when we think about, you know, was it Dawn of the Dead, where it's the concept that, you know, the dead rise.
Mm-hmm.
When they talk about this gas that affected the town, they kind of talk about it in a way where it just turned regular people into zombies.
Yes. So it was more, it was some kind of they were infected. But they didn't turn into what we traditionally think of as zombies.
No.
They are, the way I'm seeing them, are living humans that just like brains and have super strength and are a little angry, right? They aren't the living dead, because these zombies that were created after the outbreak procreated, right? They had children, which is what I think Zed is. He's like the generation after the outbreak occurred.
Yeah, so they can have children.
Yes, they have families.
Very confusing. And it's also, you know, so I love Zed's dad, okay? Like, he's amazing. Like, he reminded me of, like, Jackie Gleason from The Honeymooners.
Okay, yeah.
You know? He's like, hey, yo, I'm a single dad now. Hey, yo. Which is one of those things where it's like, once again, zombies are supposed to be dead, and so the fact that he's a single dad wouldn't make any sense, because the mom should be alive, but it's like they had to keep with like the Walt Disney legacy of one of the parents being dead, so like she's dead somehow. But like it makes no sense how zombies can have kids.
So like part of me feels like this movie was made by someone who has no idea what zombies are.
Yeah.
But then the way they portray zombies is kind of interesting. Like,
oh yeah,
like they're intelligent people that are just kind of oppressed. But it just doesn't make sense that they're zombies ever. like there's no difference between them and humans other than, like I said, they just have that urge to eat human brains.
Yeah.
And their strength.
And they also clearly have poor circulation because their skin is
Yes.
ghost colored.
Just yeah, exactly. It was just a circulation issue, really. So
Yeah.
I don't know who issued the Z-bands, the government, but all the zombies in the zombie ghetto have to wear these Z-bands, which make them, which addresses the symptoms they have of craving human brains.
Yeah.
It also curbs their insane strength.
Yeah.
And that's it, really.
Yeah.
I'm really confused about the Z-band, Max, and the power of the Z-band, because we come to find out later in the movie that the Z-band has the capability of turning one of these zombies into a regular human. Which, if that's possible, why didn't they just do that from the beginning and just turn them into humans and like maybe not cure their zombie disease, but like make it, undetectable?
Yeah.
Is that confuse you too?
As soon as he instantly is able to like fix himself for a few hours, I was like, why hasn't anyone done this always?
Yes, and when that scene happened, and as usual, I was doing something else while watching the movie, and I missed. There was a scene where this is after they like hack into a Z-band, and the villains of the movie are also hacking into a Z-band, but
Yeah.
he swipes. He swipes right. They say, don't swipe right. He does. The next scene, he has a date with the girl. I forget her name already.
Addison.
Addison. And he's completely human.
Yeah.
And I was like, wait, is he wearing makeup for this scene? Just trying to pretend like he's a human. But no, I rewound the film, and it was actually he just uses Z-band. And that does the trick, apparently.
Yeah, and so that's once again, it's like, what are they? Because in many ways they're clearly not zombies, and also because once again zombies are supposed to be the fucking undead, and the dad at one point at the very end of the movie when he finds out that Zed tampered with his Z-band to turn himself human, he's like, "You tampered with your Z-band? You could have died."
Yeah, yeah, right.
What?
Exactly. So they're not zombies. They're not. They're not. So, but I mean, I guess in this universe, they are considered zombies.
They have their own language.
Let's not even get into the language.
All right, we'll not get into that.
We will. But
so Zed is very excited for his first day. This is also when we get introduced to him. We also get introduced to the fact that the majority of this movie is going to be the main characters talking directly at you.
Yes, a lot of there's scenes where he's directly addressing the audience, right?
Oh,
But there are other scenes where it is just a regular scene between characters, and I mean, I think it was only Zed, but he would just look right in the camera.
Oh yeah,
like a wink wink type thing.
Yeah, and Addison does it as well.
Yeah, which I don't like when that happens, because it just makes me seem like the actor fucked up and is looking at the camera.
Addison gets this note from Zed, handed to her by Bonzo, the dense zombie. And when she gets the note, it says like, "Come meet me at the barrier, because there's a zombie party tonight." and she looks at it and she's like, "If I do this, I could get in so much trouble. It's gonna break every rule that there is." And then she looks directly at the camera and she's like, "Ooh yeah, I'm in." Just fucking trash. Now, so the cheerleader Addison, she's very excited about the fact that she's going to try out for the cheerleading team, which is the Mighty Shrimp is their name, the team name.
Mm-hmm.
And so she wants to be a Mighty Shrimp cheerleader. She's very excited.
Her cousin is the cheerleader, the cheer squad leader.
Bucky, my boy.
Bucky.
Now, Addison, of course, is the counter to Zed. She's the seemingly perfect girl, but she, of course, is hiding this deep, dark secret. That her hair is weird looking. And she also doesn't fit into this world. And so in that way, that's why she's so easily able to fall in love with Zed. Mm-hmm. And she's like, in some places, this might even be viewed as a cool thing, but not in Seabrook. Yeah. And it is kind of ignoring, like, there is, like, the Oedipal lens in which you can view that type of hairstyle, in which it's like, when your hair is that old lady looking, like, people will fetishize you as, like, a form of projected maturity. But it's fine. They're just gonna ignore that, and it's fine. It's very strange, the message of this movie. And also comparable to the movie Fired Up, which has a joke where they go, "Give me an F," and the crowd goes, "F." They go, "Give me a U. U. What's that spell? Fired Up." Similar to that movie, this movie has a "Give me a Zom. Zom. Give me a B. B, what's that spell? Zombie. And it's like, no, that doesn't fucking spell anything, because you're not actually spelling the word, you're just breaking it up phonetically into two different segments and then having people chant it back. It spells absolutely fucking nothing. But anyway, this is all in the first 5 minutes of the movie, and this is when we're introduced once again to the fact that they're doing their segment, and Addison is talking about cheering and all the cool stuff, and my boy Zed is talking about how he wants to be a football player. They introduce his friend, and she's like, "We should have a zombie rebellion. I'm gonna say it in this really catchy verse," and then he's like, "Hey Bonzo, how come you come and sing?" And then he busts out, and he speaks in zombie language, which sounds insane.
Yeah. Yep.
And so he clearly understands English.
Yes, very much so. And he even speaks English. He's able to say a few words in English.
No, he doesn't. He just some of the words that he says sound like English. For example, music is Grusik.
Maybe I just heard him. Okay.
But he never speaks English in the film.
Okay, so I mean, I don't want to get too deep into the language thing, because, like, it's not worth it, but like, the thought of the zombie outbreak, right? This chemical cloud comes through, infects all these people. Even if before the Z-Band, like, according to this film's logic, the Z-Band cured them of being zombies. So before they were cured, they were, like, mindless zombies. But when did they come up with their own language?
Yeah.
Why did they come up with their own language? Now, if they were cured with the Z-Band, and they were then allowed to be, like, to be able to think as a human would, did they then come up with their own language because they were trapped in a walled off ghetto? I don't understand in the history of this town when that would have happened, or why it would have happened.
So I think that here's what I think is interesting about it, and why I do want to get into it a little bit. Bonzo is clearly the dense character. He's your dumb guy, he's your big goof, he's your comic relief. And I think that's why he speaks zombie, because he is more zombie than Zed. And so the idea is that basically the ability to speak English is that of an enlightened zombie. One who has received the Z-Band and now has the mental capacity to speak English.
Oh, interesting.
And so this language, I think, was made while they were full cannibal zombies.
Gotcha. That's why all the words sound like English words, because they were just trying to say the English words. Okay. Well, see, that's something they could have talked about in the movie.
Which brings up my concern, which is that Bonzo might be closer to a brain-eating zombie than everyone else, and therefore should have like an increased dosage of electronic pulse heart fluctuations.
He should have maybe 2 Z-bands.
He should maybe have 2 Z-bands. He should be one of those zombies that they force to be a normal boy. Now, everyone's exposition in this film is so direct, and they get to the first day of school, and Addison meets this other girl, and she wants to be a cheerleader, and she's like, "Hi, I've always wanted to be on the cheer squad. It means everything to me. It's so important to me. I really wish that would happen." And she's like, "Nice to meet you. I'm Addison, and we have similar motivations, but I have a dark secret." And it's just like, it's so exhausting.
Yeah.
Like, everyone's intentions are so clear, especially because of the fact that they speak directly to you.
Well, yeah, so Bonds is just comedic relief. Zed's his one friend, the girl, the rebellious girl, she's a hacker.
Yeah.
So that's her one character thing. Who else is there? There's Bucky.
Yeah.
He's just an asshole.
Yeah.
And he doesn't want things to change.
Of course.
Is there anyone else I'm forgetting? I think that was it. I mean, Bucky has a few like a couple lackeys, but they're all like they have no personality.
Yeah, and they contribute very little to the plot as well.
Oh, we forgot Zed's hideous sister. Like that, I don't think it's not the girl's face. I mean, it is the girl's face, but it's her as a zombie. It is absolutely disturbing. And her one trait is that she wants a dog.
She really wants a dog, but zombies aren't allowed dogs because everyone thinks they're gonna eat the dogs.
Yes. Okay, so I have another question.
Oh, yeah.
Now, and this is about the zombies' eating habits. They obviously, before the Z-band came into play, they were very much eating brains, human brains, but with the whole pet thing, I guess it was any type of brain.
Yeah.
The first, like when we were introduced to the dad, Zed's dad, he makes Zed and his sister like scrambled brains, but it's cauliflower, but he says it's like made to look like it's like imitation brains.
Yeah.
Like he's trying to, you know what I mean? It's like vegetarian brains. So that was the joke.
Yeah. This tastes like
throughout
Snickers. Oh no, isn't it great? Hey.
But the rest of the movie, they're eating like people food, and I mean, and that's fine because they're eating people food in the beginning. But do they have like do they still have a taste for brains? Like do they still have a taste for garbage? Because the rest of the movie, they're eating like fucking apples and shit, and they're just eating regular people food.
Yeah, I don't know. I've no idea.
that one thing specifically was bothering me.
Well, all right. So the one thing that I think is interesting and weird is this movie comes very much off as a movie about class struggle. In a way, of course, it's trying to be about race and racial differences, but it's a lot about class. And it's similar to Descendants 2, showing how you could go to beauty school to get out of the ghetto. This movie showed how sports can unify the classes, and it kind of does so at the risk of promoting juicing because he uses that effectively to unite the classes.
Yes, there is a pro-juicing plot line. Kind of. They do call it out at one point, but there's nothing happens after that scene.
Yeah, absolutely nothing with it. But it shows that it shows that the ends justify the means, basically. Because he does unite these people, you know, and the interesting thing is that it's in a world where fewer and fewer people are getting into sports because of the concussions. This is a movie where it's showing that athleticism can get you where you want to be in the world.
Yeah, okay. Yeah,
And then
it does do that.
also continuing with that, it also really gets into this idea of, Addison is bringing up to people at the end the fact that, comparatively, like, you people are racist and you hate this race of people, but you're totally fine with that race of people making your football team better, and that's basically what she gets into at the end of the movie. And it's strange.
It's unnecessarily heavy for this type of movie.
Yeah.
I don't know. Like, I feel like Disney movies always try to put this shit into their films. Like, they always have to have some kind of social message.
Yeah.
And which is fine, but like you were saying, like like there's no payoff at the end for that plot line. Like she does that big speech, and then the Zed and his boys get arrested. And then at the end, it's cheer, it's dance that saves the day.
Yeah.
Like most of these type of movies.
Which is the craziest thing to me, just because of the fact that it's like, the entire movie they're talking about the build up to this homecoming football game, and then all of a sudden the football game ends, and
now there's a cheer championship,
and Zed gets arrested. And then all of a sudden it's like, oh yeah, by the way, there's a cheer championship. We've been working really hard towards that this whole time. And it's like, have you? Because there's only one thing that gives you an inkling that might be a possibility, and it's just that Bucky's been firing everyone that's pro-zombie. And so when he gets there, you're like, okay, so I remember that, like, he probably doesn't have a full team now, but also, like, it's not like we watched semifinals or anything. Like,
this wasn't a cheerleading movie for as much cheerleading is in it.
Yeah.
Like, it was really like a sports movie. It was a football movie.
Yeah, it was a football movie up until the very end, where they're like, oh no,
like a romantic comedy.
Cheering can save things. Cheering will save the world.
Because they ran the whole football plotline into the ground after Addison gave her big speech to booze.
Yeah.
Which is fucking crazy. I don't know. That was whatever. Fucking who cares? And that's the thing with these movies, Max, is like everything is just cobbled together so that they can get to these fucking beats, these songs, which we haven't even talked about yet.
Whoa!
I think this movie. I mean, I read into this movie, and this was just this was like some kind of pilot they had going from like 5 years ago.
Yeah, I found that too.
And it was like they found it on the floor of their offices, and they're like, all right, well let's put some tunes together.
Let's just ram some songs in there.
Yeah, like we don't even know what zombies are. I know that was mean. I get the people who made this movie, but and they were like, I'm not saying everything was bad in this movie, but other than the songs, I enjoyed the songs a lot.
Yeah,
most of them. I thought there was actually some like really cool cinematography in this movie. Like really, I don't know, like the shots of like the football team, like when they're huddling and stuff, and like a lot of the choreography and how that was all set up was great. But yeah, as with most of these movies, they have to they put these crazy messages into them.
Yeah, absolutely intense ones. Yeah.
Very. I mean, I want to go back. I know you watched this movie like 10 times, but I want to go back and rewatch it because I was shocked at how mean they were treating these zombies.
Oh yeah,
and even the teachers.
Oh my god,
like almost like spitting on them.
My favorite is so the kids get to the school and they're like, everything's gonna be great. We're zombies. We get to go to school, and now we don't have to be taught in a crummy basement. And then they find out they just get to be taught in a slightly nicer basement. And my favorite part is that The teacher goes, "All right, kids, you heard the principal. You're not allowed to leave here. Let's start working on grammar or something." And they're like, "This is supposed to be chemistry." He's like, "Listen, I used to be a janitor."
I wonder what sparked this sudden need to integrate the zombies back into society. Like, they look very complacent as a people.
Yeah.
Right? Like there weren't any protests in Zombie Town saying that we need to integrate. Like for whatever reason, the local government was just like, let's do this.
Yeah.
Everyone still hates zombies, but let's make them go to school with the regular kids.
Yeah, and even if you think that it's some sort of like equality thing, that Addison's mom is the mayor of the town, and even if it's one of those things where it's like, she was trying to get like the pity vote, even if that's where it's coming from, we find out that Addison's family has a history of hating zombies because their grandfather was bitten by one, which once again fucks with the whole concept of what zombies are, because if he was bitten by a zombie, he should logically turn into a zombie. That's part of fucking zombie lore, but they just ignore
that's zombie 101, man.
It's 101.
And they get that wrong.
And they get it wrong.
I wonder if zombies can vote in Seabrook.
That I was also thinking about that, like whether or not, because they talk about how they're basically regulated to this town, but they are allowed to get jobs. They're just the really shitty jobs.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And so once again, like they're the lower class. They're the lower and working class.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's maybe that's what it came from. Maybe Zed's dad has been fighting really hard for his son to go to school.
Maybe. We don't see any of that.
Of course not. So Zed is so adamant about trying out for this football squad that he sneaks out, and there's instantly a fire alarm set off, and that's where we're not only introduced to the fact that fire alarms have been replaced by zombie alarms, but also
which seems dangerous.
But also that zombies are really scared of fire, and so logically fire alarms still function normally in their world, and so they're terrified of the concept of a fire. But everyone's like, no, there's not a fire. It's just we exist. And my favorite part is that Zed's friend, she's like, these drills are zombie phobic.
Yeah.
And
your entire society is.
And Zed ends up in this zombie safe room, and he runs in there. Addison runs in there.
This is the meet cute.
They talk to each other in the darkness. They want a raw dog immediately. They're just like super into each other. They turn the lights on, and then she notices that like he is a zombie, and so she punches him in the face. And my favorite part is Bucky shows up. He comes in and he goes, if you ever touch my cousin again, it won't be pretty, which as you can see will be off brand for me. And I was like, yo, favorite character. And so something about this really clever and charming guy, he's so different, just like she is so different. She just can't stop thinking about raw dogging him, and so she keeps trying to hang out with him and talk to him, and so she's like, hey yo, like you should come to this pep rally. And he's like, yeah, I mean, probably not, but maybe. And his friend's like, zombies don't go to pep rallies. And it's like, you don't know that because you are the first zombies to ever go to school. Like, what's your fucking deal? So she's like, zombies don't go to pep rallies. And so they, of course, go to the pep rally. Zed's Z-band malfunctions, which gives him superhuman strength. This is all because, so Bucky is a racist. He's super anti-zombie. And he knows all the things that can fuck up zombies. And so he's like, zombies are afraid of fire. So when we cheerlead today, let's fucking have sparklers and show the world what these pieces of shit really are. And everyone's like, yeah, fuck those zombies. Let's show the world that they're garbage. And so they're messing around with the sparklers. My boy Bonzo is afraid of the fire. and he tries to run away, and he ends up knocking into people, which almost makes Addison fall to the ground. She could have hurt herself. But Zed knocks out a bunch of fucking football players, and he saves her. Because, once again, they want a raw dog. And that's when Discount Ron Funches is like, hey, yo, I need you on my football team.
And this is also where there's like there's this fucked up plot with the high school principal using Zed as like a prop.
Yes.
To make the football team better, and she's like, his demand obviously is like full integration for zombies.
Yeah.
And she's like, well, we'll see how you do your first game. If you keep up the touchdowns, maybe we'll let you go. You can go to lunch now, and maybe we can give you your band practice and all this. And it's like this really, really disturbing like plot line with the principal. I thought it was very terrible.
Now, all right. So the team is called the Mighty Shrimp. Okay, and because I know how clever writers think they are. All right, I was like, why shrimp? In 2015, there was a discovery of a parasite called Plastophora mallorii, which was nicknamed the zombie parasite, which turned shrimp into cannibals.
Do you think they knew about that when they wrote this
movie? I think that is why they're called the Mighty Shrimp, because they're like, what if secretly the cheerleaders were cannibals in their own way?
I thought it was because they named the town Seabrook and they just wanted to go along with the sea theme of Seabrook.
No, dog.
Nah, it's definitely the other one.
It's definitely this way more complicated thing that I thought of.
All right, I'll go with it. It's canon.
And you know, so Addison, of course, makes it on the cheerleading team. Part of her initiation is that she has to go egg a house. Turns out to be Zed's house. And then my favorite is that post having the opportunity to egg Zed's house, she's like, have zombies always been around?
She's completely ignorant to the town she grew up in. She's like, oh my god, they live in this ghetto? This is terrible. And Bucky's like, we gotta teach these pieces of shit who they are. We're gonna fucking egg their house.
and it's also funny just because of the fact that it's like, not only is she completely ignorant to like the ways in which these people have been oppressed, but also like that ignorance extends to the point where it's like, because of her experience with Zed, she almost ignores the fact that like, no, like there was this post-apocalyptic period where zombies were eating people, you fuck. Yeah. Like they were fortunate enough to get to a point where they could harass zombies. You idiot.
I mean, we really don't know what that period looked like post right after the outbreak, because apparently they can bite people and the people are fine. They don't turn into zombies.
Yeah.
So we don't know how bad it was, but going from there, she doesn't egg the house.
She
right?
does not.
Because Bucky gets scared away, and then I feel like the rest, kind of leading up to the football game, it's really all about like the principal and the school using Zed to win games.
Yeah.
And then kind of like all the different issues that come up with due to the integration, because as Zed is winning games for the school, they're being more integrated into the school, so they start having lunch, and there's a funny scene where they're like, oh, of course they put us by the garbage bins in the corner of the cafeteria.
Yeah.
And they're like, we love it. It's perfect because we're zombies and we apparently like trash. Like, that's what zombies are. They like to eat trash.
Yeah. They're garbage people now.
Like they're garbage people.
Yeah.
And then we also get to see Zed and Addison's love blossom.
Yeah. So Addison really likes Zed, and it's in the cafeteria when they're so excited that zombies get to be in the cafeteria that she's seeing their joy, and she's really falling for him, and her friend is just going, "You want to have sex with a zombie?" And she's like, "Do you hate me now?" And she's like, "No, I'll always support everything that you do. You're a great person." And she's like, "Okay, good." And it's one of those things where, once again, like, can zombies get boners? Like, do they have a circulatory system that could even pump blood to their genitalia?
Yes, dude. Yes, they have children, Max. They are not zombies. They are humans. Their flesh is not rotting.
Do you think they were capable of having humans before the Z-band?
I think they were capable, but their impulses to eat brains like superseded everything.
Okay.
I mean, it's hard to. I really just want to get the writers in a room,
Oh,
like me and you, just kind of just lay it on and ask them. Really fill in those holes that I have in my head about this movie.
So Addison tries to talk to Zed and Zombie.
Yeah.
And she embarrasses herself, saying the wrong stuff. And so, they decide that they should go and hang out together because they do really like each other. And so they go back to the room where they first met. And that's where they sing to each other. And as much as I like the song, her voice is very flat and kind of featureless. It's kind of like a body temperature bath,
Yeah, so that when you watch the movie and you sing along with the movie,
it's more about your voice.
She doesn't overpower your voice. Like, you can sing and
but it's like she's hitting some notes that I'm like, all right, like, those are some kind of hard notes to hit, but she's like not hitting them with like any sort of character. Like, I've no idea what her voice sounds like. And then also at the very end of the song, like, when she's singing, the notes that she's hitting and the way her mouth is moving do not match up at all, and it's hilarious.
No, of course not, Matt.
But goddamn, is that song great?
I like it. I think I like it better as a ballad. They play it again, like a half hour later
in the Zombie Light Garden.
Yeah, I like that version better.
Okay.
I think. I mean, again, her voice is featureless there as well.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think that was intentional. I think. That's a great song. Actually, I think all the songs in this movie are pretty good, except for I didn't like the cheerleading tryout song.
Yeah.
Whatever that was. I hated that
Get
song.
fired up. You're gonna make it.
Yeah.
I get that.
Get your head in the game. Get your head in the game.
And I will say, I mean, compared to Descendants 1, where they had many tonal shifts in the music, Zombies has like one complete tonal voice the whole time, which is lovely.
Yes. Most of the songs feature a little bit of rapping. That's okay. That's the style of Disney's Zombies.
We got some swag.
Yes. They have a diverse cast, and the music reflects that.
Yeah.
No, I liked that first song is my favorite though. The when they're in Zombie Town.
Oh my
and they're getting
God.
ready. It sounds just like Party in the USA. I love it.
Hey, Bonzo, come and spit a verse. Zigzag body walk, rig-rag rom. He just said that in Zombie. Yeah, but he only said he was hungry. that was, once again, that's like 3 minutes into the movie, and I was like, what the fuck am I watching?
Yeah, and I don't know. The choice of clothing and the color palette was interesting too.
Yeah.
Just everything's so the Seabrook side is very much like all kind of like pastels, and they're all wearing, and it's like it's a little bit neon too, but that's more the zombie side. They kind of have the brighter colors.
It's like Suicide Squad in 20 years.
I mean,
when those colors fade.
When you were first showing me pictures of this movie, I was looking at Zed's hair, and I just immediately thought of the Joker from Suicide Squad, and I was like, oh boy, oh Jesus. But they pull it off. Love the look of the zombies. This is like the classic zombie look, that classic, Night of the Living Dead zombie look. Yeah. That like neon green hair.
Yeah. We just could never tell because Night of the Living Dead's in black and white.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
No.
I also thought it was fucked up. They all have to wear uniforms.
Yeah, but we make them look dope. Check out, we put Z's on the back of them. Ay. Now, so obviously Addison now, she wants to cheer for her zombie lover, and the football team won't even cover Zed because he's a dirty, filthy zombie. And so he, of course, takes fate into his own hand, bypasses his Z-band for a little bit of a, quote, zomboost, and he brings them into victory. Everyone starts loving zombies. They start thinking they're cool. They appropriate zombie culture.
Yeah.
Which is my favorite thing. People turning their hair green and then wearing, I guess, zombie-esque bracelets.
Which is I guess, symbolizing how in America we take things from other cultures that we think are cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was a neat touch. And then we find out that, like, everyone in the schools actually, they love the zombie style.
Yeah.
Like, everyone's wearing some zombie flair. I thought that was neat.
Zombie flair. and so Bucky, of course, is now pissed at Addison. He's like, you can't be going, give me a zom, give me a B. This whole idealistic, positive attitude has no place in cheering.
And I think he kicks them off the team.
He kicks them off the team.
They'd already hacked the Z-band, right?
Oh,
at this point? Yeah. So Bucky has had his other lackeys steal the hacker girl's computer, and they're in the middle of hacking it for this terrible. I mean, it's a good plan, I guess. I mean, it's actually a very, very smart plan to turn them all into actual zombies.
Yeah.
So that they are removed from the school.
But then, of course, the backfire of that plan was that they're like, oh, we forgot that they'd actually want to eat our brains.
Zed, he wins the football game without his zombie powers, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, because his thing isn't working because they fuck with it. They hack it, and it's not giving him his juice. I thought that was neat too. It was like an anti-juicing thing. It's like you don't need steroids to win your football games.
Yeah, as long as everyone actually helps each other.
As long as people are cheering for you, as long as we have cheer and dance, you can overcome all obstacles.
That's a good point. Cause
I think that's where they tie it all in. I think
the end of the movie, when Zed's sister is cheering, and she's like, "Give me a zombie, give me a Zed, give me a whatever." Addison's like, "She's changing things by cheering." And
they literally say that.
They literally, that's an exact line from this movie. And then they're like, that's not how change works. And they're like, but this is the way it can work. And another line that happens in this movie is Zed goes, you can change the world with your cheering.
Yeah.
And I was just like, this fucking movie.
He got a little heavy towards the end with that shit. I did not like that at all. I was actually kind of excited so after the zombies are removed because their Z-bands are hacked and malfunction.
Yeah.
They start trying to eat everyone. They remove them. They take them to zombie jail apparently. And then Hacker Girl has this plan to sabotage the cheer competition.
Yeah.
But Addison and Zed and the crew stop her from doing it beforehand.
Because it's not the zombie way.
It's not, yeah. Yeah. Sabotaging a cheer competition via hacking is not the zombie way, apparently.
I'm a zombie, not a monster.
We're werewolves, not swearwolves. Yes, and then and they just cheer, and Zed's sister starts it. She goes on stage by herself, and the rest of the characters join in, and Bucky he's been a real downer, and then he comes around too at the end, so everything works out.
I will say I loved his refusal to join them.
I thought that was it would have been very easy for them to just it was a very nice kind of fake out. He's like yo, fuck this, and I was like, oh, zombies too, like he's still not with zombies. What could they do with this character, this really deep character they developed this whole movie for a sequel? And then those dreams were smashed when he comes right back on stage immediately after. And everything's resolved at the end of this movie, Max. I don't know how there could be a sequel.
And then the end of the movie, it says the end, and it's written in zombie.
It is?
Yep.
Is this after there? Because there's an ending credit song which I did not watch.
Yes.
I couldn't. I'm done. Like after the cheers. I really don't like the credit songs in these musicals.
You couldn't handle the reprise of the song from the beginning of the movie. They just changed the lyrics.
I didn't like it. It wasn't as good.
Yeah.
I like the they have a big zombie party at the old factory where it all began, and it was like it sounded just like Ice Ice Baby. And it was awesome. You excited for the movie next week?
What are we watching next week?
Now, have you ever seen Home Alone 1?
Yes.
Okay, great, because we're watching Home Alone 4.
Hold on. Oh, God. I'm crying. Oh, no,
good,
this story looks so sad. Kevin McAllister's parents split up.
Yeah, dude. It's like, so Home Alone 3 was a theatrical release. That movie is about another kid who has a similar experience to Kevin McAllister, right? Home Alone 4 is the made-for-TV sequel, but it picks up after Home Alone 2, and Kevin McAllister's parents have split up, and now he's living with his mother, and different robbers mess with him when he's left home at his mother's house, which is insane. Like, the idea of revisiting that character and continuing his story is crazy to me. Wow. But I think there's like a sub hold on. It's Home Alone 4 Taking Back the House. That's in Canada. In the US it was Home Alone 4 Home Alone Taking Back the House.
I can't wait.
Yeah.